Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you guys are doing well. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I reflect on what's happening with Chelsea in world media. Essentially, Chelsea are coming off a 1-0 loss to Man City in the Premier League at the Etihad via a Kevin De Bruyne wonder goal that had the value of 0.02 expected goals. Still deserved to win it, didn't they? I'm going to talk about Thomas Tuchel's comments regarding Romelu Lukaku. I also want to talk about how he looks like for the first time in his Chelsea career, he's seemingly about to explode. That's if you go by his post-match press conference and the stuff he said in the comments there. Also, it's the transfer window, so I want to reflect on transfers as well. Ivan Perisic being linked to Chelsea. Weird. We'll talk about that as well. Nicolás Tagliafico, an option, so saith Fabrizio Romano. And of course, Emerson remains the first choice. Of course, I want to explain to you, I've got a new setup here. You'll notice the board is gone. That's due to audio and processing issues, oddly. But I've got a multicam setup. So here we go. How's it going? Now we've got this cam, the talking cam, where I'm going to express myself more. When I'm referencing stuff on the computer, I'll use the desk cam. But when I really want to express myself and get into it, I'll use this cam over here. Nice, multicam setup. Better content for you, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully anyway. So make sure you do subscribe, settle in, please do drop a like. See if we can get 3,000 likes, that would be nice. That would make me feel good. Please do drop a like. And let's get straight into it, my friends. Where to start? I think we should probably talk about Romelu Lukaku. Let's start off with Thomas Tuchel's comments. Now, it's important to know I personally have just watched Match of the Day. For those of you who don't live in England, it's a sort of iconic football show that happens in the evening on the weekends. And Alan Shearer, legendary Premier League striker, did some analysis of Romelu Lukaku in that game. I, like many of you, on social media at least, reflected on a very poor game for Romelu Lukaku. And it was quite bad, but Alan Shearer highlighted the fact how it probably wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and he highlighted many an instant where Romelu Lukaku was actually making himself available for the appropriate pass that never came. Yes, he had two instances where he could have done better. When he passed the ball to Ziyech, when he should take the shot on, or even lay it off to Alonso. Excuse me. And of course, when the save was made by Edison, which, he still met a good shot, but people are claiming he should have done better. But after watching that analysis from Alan Shearer, it made me think, he was constantly in that channel where he wanted the ball and he was available to it, and it never came. So I'm going to ease off him a little bit. Thomas Tuchel was asked about if he had enough service in that game, which would correlate with what I've just said in terms of Alan Shearer's analysis. Excuse me, I've got to clear my throat. To which Thomas Tuchel responded, sometimes he has to be the service. He had many ball losses and had a huge chance. So that is pretty damning. And from the Chelsea manager there, he goes on to say, of course, we want him to serve. We want to serve him to be as part of the team. The performance up front in the first half, we could do much better. So he's essentially saying, yeah, it was really, really poor. I think he did serve that one ball to Hakim Ziyech when basically Ziyech should have been on the right wing and Perisic should have been on the left wing. But for some reason, Tuchel was playing them on opposite wings. And Ziyech has got absolutely no pace in comparison to Walker. But there's one thing we know Pulisic's got, it's pace. And that would have been in his favoured left wing spot. Peculiar. But Thomas Tuchel, just to sort of reflect on this game, and then we're going to talk about transfers and stuff, and then we're going to talk about the Chelsea generally, basically. So he was also asked about the Arsenal game being postponed, and of course Chelsea have done everything to try and get postponements in difficult times and were rejected. And Tuchel was already annoyed that other teams were getting postponed and Chelsea wasn't. And Arsenal pretty much got postponed because they wanted to, because they had a few injuries. And that is not the reason why you get postponed. And a question was put to him in the presser, Thomas, how do you feel about Arsenal getting the game postponed? And he literally looked like he was going to explode. And he said, I cannot answer this question. Because you can tell he is being tested. Then Thomas Tuchel, who touched down at Chelsea and was adamant he was never going to like cause any trouble. So he loves the Premier League. He trusts his bosses in the Super League. Everything's fine if we go to the Super League. It's the winter break. Yes, we don't usually play it in France and Germany, but I love the no winter break because there's loads of football and that's what we love about Premier League. And you know, it's happy, being tested now, and I kind of have sympathy for him here because he wanted everything for extra games. This is, in his head, this might be a huge contributing factor to why Chelsea are no longer in the title race. And then Arsenal, just because they have some injuries and they felt like it, they got their game postponed. So Tuchel is not a happy boy with that. In fact, he's fuming and he looks super angry on the touchline in the Etihad, and he looks like I've never seen him. And I watch every single press conference. I don't miss one. I watch every single pre and post match press conference for every competition. Of course, it's part of my job. Dude looked like he was about to explode. We're gonna talk about Chelsea generally moving forwards in a moment, but let's get back to some transfer news and stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna reference something quickly. Talking about the January transfer window. Nicolás Tagliafico. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano. Nicolás Tagliafico, interesting opportunity on the market, waiting in the final 2 weeks. Of course, we're in the January transfer window still. Napoli are interested in signing him on loan with an option to buy, waiting for Ajax to answer next week. Excuse me, but Chelsea considered Tagliafico as an option in December. No New York's in January. So he is an option for Chelsea, but Chelsea remain very, very interested in bringing back Emerson Palmieri. Of course, the longer they wait, the more difficult this is going to be. He is the priority. Emerson Palmieri, is the priority because Tuchel knows him. He knows he's not trouble. He can slot straight back in. He's obviously been quite philosophical about this, I guess, and like, right, what's going to actually be the most helpful for us here? Emerson, I guess, he'll come in. The guys like him. It just makes a lot of sense. Do you know what I mean? So, do you really want to sign Nicolás Tagliafico? It could be like a sort of case of like bringing in Lucadinha for like 100k a week and adding those wages and adding all that stuff. It does make sense to just bring in Emerson Palmieri. And maybe, just maybe, super angry Thomas Tuchel might have to be okay with Kennedy. And at this point now, like, I'm relatively agnostic about this. Like, we're not on the title race. I think we should probably get top 4. Although, here's something to make you feel sick. And it's unlikely, but it still might make you feel sick. If Tottenham win their games in hand, they're 2 points above us. But obviously one of those games in hand is against Chelsea as well. So, but if they win their games in hand, they'd be 2 points above us. And they'd be second, actually, which is mental. This league is turning into a farmers' league. Largely because Chelsea, I mean, we've only lost one game in so many, I think we lost 2 games in the Premier League. Or 3 now after Man City. But going into that Man City game, Man City and Chelsea had both lost 2 games in the Premier League. Chelsea had just got loads more draws. And yeah, you know, you look in the Bundesliga title race, and I believe like, you know, Dortmund have got 2 draws or something, and you just think like, where are we pulling these draws from? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm not gonna ruminate on draws too much. Like I said, we're out of the title race. We're probably bankers for top 4. But we need to start playing well again, essentially. And ultimately, but Chelsea can win many trophies. Chelsea can still win 5 trophies this season, I think. We've won the Super Cup. We're in the final of the League Cup. So, obviously, there's a big game there that we're capable of winning. But you could win that. We'll be favourites for the Club World Cup. That's 3 trophies already with the Super Cup. And then obviously there's the FA Cup and Champions League. And, you know, why not go for the FA Cup? We reached the final last season. Why not? So because Chelsea could still have a very, very good season. Okay, Chelsea, I want to talk about this as well. Chelsea are looking at Ivan Perisic. Reportedly. Certainly that's going around the headlines. Ivan Perisic, in the media as a wing-back option. A wing-back option. Now, Ivan Perisic, very, very highly thought of player, very talented. You know, loads of big clubs. One of them, Man United. One of them, he's currently playing at Inter, and he's played at loads and loads of big clubs. In fact, I'll tell you what clubs he's played at. He's played at Bayern Munich, Inter, Dortmund, Wolfsburg. So, yeah, that's some big clubs there. But the thing is, Ivan Perisic is being considered for a wing-back role, who's generally a left midfielder, left winger. So you could argue the wing-backs are very offensive. They kind of can play. He's played striker sometimes. Like, he's played down the middle as a centre forward or a sort of second striker or a striker, it says here on Transfermarkt. You're trying to buy let's have it right, a 32-year-old Italian striker left winger to play your alternating left wing back. Now, the only way I can see this working is his contract does expire at the end of this season. So maybe Chelsea literally offer him a 1-year deal. You know, we say, look, you can have a 1-year deal instead of your 6 months deal, and you can have like high money, and if you do well at Chelsea, we'll give you a 1-year extension after that. Alonso's 31, so Alonso's younger than Perisic. Does it make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know down in the comment section below what you think. Let me know. And do you think like this would be a good option purely because of his contract? So financially, it might make sense in terms of he hasn't got much left to go. All right, I do want to end the video and talk about Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea a little bit more. I was trying to put this off because clearly there's big troubles. I've tweeted out and I've been having a lot of like thought about this. I've been kind of like meditating on it. I think we have a long-standing problem at Chelsea, and it's offensive player dysfunction. And this is my opinion. I think for a long time, Chelsea have cultivated an environment that's not conducive to attacking players' success or thriving. And this is chiefly to systemic changes, managerial changes, ultimately leading in personnel changes up front, no continuity, no developing chemistry, and ultimately no goals and success and good, like, you know, cohesion, do you know what I mean, to use more alliteration. For example, we bought Kai Havertz as one of the best, like, number 8s, number 10s in world football. That's, like, wanted by Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, everyone, you know, dueling European crown. We're playing him as, like, an inside number 10 or a striker, which neither gets the best out of him. We bought Hakim Ziyech when Lampard was manager to play as a right wing, who can be absolutely magnificent when he plays as in, like, a 4-2-3-1 and sort of keeps on that right wing space and just lets himself be creative, and he can be like truly magnificent. We play him as like an inside 10 in this system that doesn't work at all. Granted, he looked better when we played a 4-back system, but for the moment, you know, Perisic wants to sort of play that inside left sort of striker. He's not a number 10 playing inside, and he you know, we've seen the best of him seemingly before his hamstring injury, which is kind of sad. You know, it goes on. Romelu Lukaku wants to play as a sort of partnered striker, playing in the right channel in a sort of transitional system. We don't play to that strength. He wants to run towards goal and run in the channels, not play as a hold-up striker, which he has been playing at. There's so many like examples of this, and this is not just down to Tuchel. This is previous managers. We've just brought in wicked players that seem good, seem exciting, seem talented, and are in good form in their respective teams, in their respective leagues. Loads of clubs want them probably because they have a vision of how to implement and utilise these players, where clearly Chelsea doesn't. Thomas Tuchel understandably touched down at Chelsea and was like, wow, this is a really talented squad. Surely I can do something here, provided I set up a robust system where we don't give up chances. And that's where we are. We're a systemic Chelsea. We give up very little high quality chances, which is great, and it's really good for cup football. But is it conducive to long-term domestic success in a Premier League? No. And that's where we're at. And you look at, you know, Liverpool when they were doing well in the league, they had a great chemistry up front and systemic chemistry with forwards. Similarly with Manchester City, they're, you know, maybe not like the same cohesion as the front three of Liverpool, but they're all like midfielders that understand a true systemic way of attacking. Chelsea have a true systemic way of defending. So ultimately, we've got all these like vibey, very talented attackers. And you know me, if you watch Football Therapy, you know I'm not inclined to dig out Chelsea's attackers because I think they're all very, you know, talented. You know, a lot of people go, oh yeah, they're just awful. But they're not awful, are they? They're not awful. You know, Kai Havertz is a £72 million forward. That's excellent. Romelu Lukaku, you know, he's a £100 million striker that, you know, has been world class for Inter, Belgium, 12th in the Ballon d'Or, in his prime. Do you know what I mean? I've talked about Ziyech, won Player of the Year 4 times in a row in an amazingly talented Ajax squad. He was the top of the, you know, table, constantly there. It goes on. We've got loads of excellent players, but they don't fit a system. They don't fit an ethos. They don't fit in a philosophy. And what do we do from here? Surely the only thing is to trust Tuchel to hopefully stay at Chelsea as long as possible and start having some say in players coming in and coming out. Really, because at the moment that's the problem. Let's bring it on home. So, essentially, what I think, we will be okay this season. We'll probably get top 4, I think. And ultimately, we have to utilise what we've got and try and do well in the Cups. And I think really Chelsea need to look at the football market, and if it's starting to sort of be revitalised, the market after the, you know, the apocalypse, essentially, then we need to start making serious moves. And ultimately, we need to build around one ethos, but that's going to scare Chelsea because they like switching managers and it works for them. Guys, let me know what you think. I've spoken my opinion on this. I've also reflected on recent news. Perisic, Tagliafico, Thomas Tuchel about to go boom, looks like. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about the cameras setup. Do you think that's cool? Do you enjoy it? Do you think it's more personal? I'd really love your feedback. And enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.
Way so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my